And I'm pretty dirty, but what is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm glad to be back and have like an official video. We're in the shop, so I'm back home. I'm glad to be back, and we're gonna get some work done on both mine and Keller's truck. This video is just going over Keller's truck. This is my little brother's. You guys last saw his 3rd gen, and that was it. But he has a VP truck now, and it's a runner. It does very well, but we noticed it had an awful lot more haze than normal. The injectors, we knew that they were fine. Took off one of the intercooler boots and oil ran out, so we knew, like, oh damn it, the turbo. I need to take apart the turbo. So that's what I did tonight. I didn't film. We had a whole shop full of people, and I'm just not good enough for that yet. I guess I'm not comfortable enough. So what I did was removed his charger, and essentially I pulled the charger off, took it apart just like you would see on one of like Turbo Labs videos or anything like that. So I pulled the turbo off, removed the exhaust housing, so it's these 4 bolts, and then removed the snap ring in front, popped the compressor and turbine wheels out, and then looked at the oil control rings in there, or there's one oil control ring. I replaced that, and then an O-ring as well inside the bearing housing, and threw it back together, put it back on. So far so good. There is no, my hands are very dirty, but like there's no oil coming out of the turbo anymore, which is great. This intercooler does have oil in it, so I would really like to pull it off and clean it out as best we can until he goes and puts an on 3 or something in it. The manifold studs had been loosening. This truck loves losing manifold studs. We're gonna need to put locking stuff on it, but fixed all the boost leaks on just this chunk right here, and then we'll end up putting our piping back on once this thing sits, and I know for sure there's nothing leaking out here, and then we'll test drive it and try and clean it out a little bit. So essentially, for you guys that don't know, this is, I believe it's an 01 VP44 truck. It's maroon. This truck, whenever he bought it, had S364.5 S480 compounds, and it was a dog. This truck ran bad, like real bad. I'm sure there's a way to make it run better, but it ran really, really bad. It was no fun to drive. It didn't come on until 3,000 RPM. It just was not enjoyable. It was hot, smoky. It was not sized right, in my personal opinion. So I was like, you know what? Sell it all. Like, for what we've got here, this whole set will do exactly what we need. So essentially, it is 7x12 ducky injectors. I don't know if that pump means it's a BD pump, or if that's just a BD top with a standard output pump, or what. I'm not a really knowledgeable VP guy. I would love to learn more about them, but this truck I do not know specifics as far as the pump goes. It's got an edge juice with attitude. The tuning is very poor. That's one of the downsides of this truck. We're going to try and get some Quadzilla action going on with Mr. TJ Fry. We'll get there. It's got an MV4500 in it that's been gone through 1 3/8 input shaft, 5th gear nut, Valair, or I can't remember if it's Valair or South Bend dual disc clutch in it. This is a 62 67 9 HX35 built by Mr. Duncan Finley over at Finley Precision Inductions. Absolutely love it. It comes on great. It maintains, I mean, it pulls all the way through the RPM band. It's amazing. This is so much funner to drive over the compounds. It's ridiculous, and it is for sure making more power on this than it was the compounds, without a doubt. So very happy with it. My hands are really dirty, so you can see where I put the turbo on. So tomorrow I'm gonna clean it all up and degrease the engine bay and power wash it real good. Then we've got, this is just your standard 3-piece manifold, nothing special there. It does have ARP head studs, obviously, and all that good stuff. So it's got the supporting stuff. It's got a fast 165 or 150. I guess fast is probably 150. AirDog's 165, and that's besides the point. But yeah, it's got some good stuff done. It was a big compound truck. That's like, it was cool to look at, but it was not fun to drive at all. But yeah, so that's what's going on with this truck. We drove this truck all the way to Scheid, so I mean that's an 8-hour trip from home. We drove this thing up there, drove it back, had a great time in it. It's not typical. It doesn't look like the trucks that we normally have. So this is how it sits now, because we're working on it. We're trying to get it nice. Like we're trying to get it back to what it was, and fix some of these leaks. The valve cover gasket was leaking pretty bad, so Got it down here, cleaned up the gasket. I'm just going to try and clean it up and get it to seal until the new one comes in, and hopefully that'll solve most of our problems. So I'll degrease the engine bay. The inside's probably dirty. This is a Laramie truck, but we'll probably do some detailing as well. But I mean, it's power, everything. There's the edge. There's a 5-speed. So yeah, that's the truck. The truck does well. I mean, we're pretty happy with it, but we need to do all the stuff in the engine that we need to get done with. We want to mount the new sport bumper on it, which you guys will see in a following clip. Alright, so the shop is very dirty, yes, but we got this old bumper off that was beat to crap that's on Keller's truck, and got the new one mocked up. Although we do need 2 different brackets. 2 out of the 4 work, but the middle 2 do not. But that looks way better, and hopefully this thing dropped down a lot will look even better than that. And then remove the leveling kit, get it back down to stock height in the front. If not, cut a coil and then drop it in the back as well, because we want this thing to sit a lot lower. These are 33 1250, and this thing just completely skates them. And if we could get it lower and keep it on a 33, it's a lot happier. So yeah, it does have a roll pan, but it doesn't have the tucked hitch in it or anything like that. So Keller has kind of had forgotten about this thing pretty much. Didn't really care to mess with it, but after I finally came back home, got it fixed, and we got it fired up and whatnot, pulling it into the shop. You guys heard it. The truck sounds cool. It sounds really good. So that kind of gave me a little bit more inspiration. Really, this thing just needs a very good cleaning, good degreasing. Clay it, buff it, wax it, and it would be looking really good. So I don't want to know what's behind the chrome plates. I don't think I want to take them off because it'd probably ruin the paint. I don't know. If that was the case, we could always do a 2-tone, paint it from the body line down, and try and work some magic. And there's definitely some things we got to work on with this thing. I just want to get it back on the road and see what we can do there. But hopefully you guys like it. Please come back in the next video, because we have new first gen content coming. I've got a bunch of parts, and I'm actually going to go film some unboxing stuff, just because I don't even know what showed up yet. I ordered a bunch of parts for that thing just to fix the typical first gen stuff. So I'm going to be going over that, doing a lot of those repairs. Probably repairs that you can also see over on Tim's channel, Decent Garage, and Tyler's channel, which is Tyler Ovens, or I think he calls it Ovens Garage or Ovens, I don't know. Tyler does really good stuff too. Him and Tim are mainly, I mean, really those guys are the big first gen guys on YouTube. If you guys know, it's called First Gen Hub. If you look that up on YouTube as well, Justin Fonder has a YouTube channel over there, and he has some very good stuff on there. He's going to be finally getting back to posting. He hasn't done any in a while, kind of like myself, but he did mention that he was going to get back to it. So there's definitely some really good information for first gens out on YouTube. You just got to find the right guys, and those are definitely some really good guys to watch. So I'm going to go in the house. It's like well past midnight, but I work night shift now, so I'm a night owl. I can't hardly go to sleep. I would work on this thing all night if I could, but I don't need to. So I'm going to clean up. I will see you guys in the next one.